Hello everyone, this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? I am going to do a quick September TBR, and it's pretty exciting. I'm going to be involved in, basically, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a couple other things, reading events for September. So I'll start off with the one I've been involved with the longest, or I've participated in the longest, and that's Shaketember. And I think I've done this every September since I got on BookTube, and I always look forward to it. This time, I don't even know what the prompts are. I really haven't been paying attention. I will link to Kelly Books I'm Not Reading, her announcement video. And I know her husband, Jason, and, there's another person. Oh, she's lovely. She's British. I can't remember her name. But anyway, there's 3 co-hosts. I'll link to Kelly's because that's the one I know the best. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, though. Like I said, I haven't been paying attention. But I did know that I wanted to read Shakespeare in September. He was my poet of the month because I've been trying to do focus on a different poet every month. Last month, a couple of the poets haven't gone so well for me. And last month, I didn't get into Mary Oliver the way I thought I would. This month, it was originally going to be... Oh, no, that's August. I'm talking about August. Let me just talk about September. September was always going to be Shakespeare. So I don't have the play to hold up that I want to read, but I want to read Richard III. I went to Barnes & Noble to get a copy, and they just had the same, 7 plays by Shakespeare in different editions. It was a really shallow collection. They didn't even have Henry V. They didn't have any history plays. Anyway, so I think I might resort to the library. So I'm going to get Richard III out of the library and read that. And I'm hoping to read it the first weekend of September because I have I have to strategize how I'm going to get all my reading in September. But the other thing that I want to do for Shaketember is I'm going to start a Commonplace book. And I even bought a new notebook. This one is kind of neat because it's made from recycled plastic, and it's all groovy and green. But let me just show you. I got this notebook because I've been wanting to Commonplace. If you've ever homeschooled or heard of Charlotte Mason, she did Commonplacing, and it was something that people did back in the olden days. That seems like a really, just a really calming, edifying thing to do. And 2 people that I watch regularly on YouTube also Commonplace, or trying to bring back the practice of Commonplacing. One is the Daily Connoisseur, and the other is Miranda Mills. So I thought I would do it too, and I'm going to begin in September with my new notebook, and I'm going to use Shakespeare as my inspiration for Commonplacing in September, and I'm going to base it on this book, Shakespeare's Use of the Arts of Language by Sister Miriam Joseph. She was a famous classical scholar, and this is all classical rhetoric. So topics of invention, and then argumentation. And so she just goes through Shakespeare. And so I think I'm gonna try to do this, and I'm gonna try to make this 10 minutes several times a week, to just sit down and read through, just kind of glance through it to see what the context is, and then find something by Shakespeare to copy over into my Commonplace book, something that jumps out at me. So that's also my plan. So I'm going to read Richard III the first weekend in September, and I'm going to start Commonplacing. So that's kind of an exciting thing to think about. All right, so that's Shaketember. The next thing I'm doing is I'm actually a co-host of, and that's RedSeptember. And that was the brainchild of Christy Lewis at Dostoevsky in Space. And we had when was that? Was it last Sunday? Yeah, last Sunday. We did a live TBR. And so I've already shown these books before. So I'm reading the Gulag Archipelago, and I'm going to finish chapter 2 today. I only have about 6 more pages, so I'm going to finish the second chapter today. I started reading this early because it's such a big book, and I really hope to get it done by September 28th, so we'll see if I can do that. Because September 28th is when we're doing a live discussion about what we've read and what we've learned. So RedSeptember is focusing on the history of communism, and most of us are concentrating on the Soviet Union. This is the group read, which is the Soviet Union, a very short introduction. This is a very short introduction. I've already looked through it quite a bit, and I think I'm going to be able to read it in about 2 sittings. So I also hope to get this done the first week in September. And then I'm also going to read Disturbing the Peace by Václav Havel. And he was, as they were breaking away from the Soviet Union, he was elected the president, I believe. Was he the first president? Or was he? I'm not sure. I knew more when I was younger. And I've had this book for forever. But I'm hoping to finally read it. So those are my 3 books for RedSeptember. The other event that we're doing besides the September 28th live discussion, we are going to watch The Death of Stalin, which is a comedy. I think Michael Palin's in it and other people. And that is going to be through my Discord, my Theology book club, but we're using the Discord to be able to stream the movie. So Christy Lewis knows how to do all that. So yes, we're doing that on September 8th, and then we're having our discussion September 28th. So there's a siren in the background. So that's the second thing. So we got Shaketember, we've got RedSeptember, and then there is a read-along of all of David McCullough's works. And it's hosted by Linda at Elder Talk. Sorry, we have a fire station close to us. And Ariane of Book Zealots. And I had just buddy read a few months ago The Johnstown Flood with Linda. But she reread it. Sorry. I didn't want to reread it that soon. But I am going to participate. And I've read a number of David McCullough books already. But so I decided I was only going to participate when it's books that I haven't read yet. So for September and October, they're reading The Great Bridge by David McCullough. I'm really looking forward to this. But since I have 2 months to read it, I only need to read the first half in September. So I'm not going to put pressure on myself. So this is going to be my bedtime read, because I love David McCullough's narrative style. It's almost like reading a novel. There's something so warm about it. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, this might have a lot of engineering in it. I read The Path Between the Seas about the building of the Panama Canal. There's a lot of engineering in that just went over my head. So we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see about that, how much I actually comprehend of that aspect. But it's the people, it's the social history that I'm interested in. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll link to all these events below, so that you can. I'll link to Linda's announcement, and I'll link to Christy's announcement about RedSeptember. And then there's a new thing going on in September called Framed in September. So let me get my Kindle to work here. And I had just done a buddy read with Linda and another woman, Deirdre, of the Letters of Vincent van Gogh, which I have not reviewed yet, and I want to review. And I'll link to their reviews, because they both did really good reviews of the Letters of Vincent van Gogh, which I think is going to wind up being a highlight of the whole 2024 reading year. And so Linda was interested in learning more, and she was interested in the character the person of Johanna, who married Theo. And she's the one that inherited all of Vincent van Gogh's paintings. He was just starting to get some recognition right before he died, like months before he died. He was just like, somebody wrote a good review. and he was actually exhibited in like 2 different exhibitions. Like this was just months before he died. So he wasn't at all famous yet. I think only 2 of his paintings sold, and they sold to like a friend of a friend, or the brother of a friend, or the sister of a friend. So anyway, so Joe Van Gogh, and then Theo died 6 months after Vincent did. And he left a wife, they'd only been married 2 years, with a newborn baby, or he was a few months old, who they named after Vincent van Gogh. Anyway, so this woman I think was really remarkable. And we found on Amazon this book by Marta Molnar. I think it might just be, I don't know if it's self-published or what, but it's The Secret Life of Sunflowers, and it's about Joe Banger Van Gogh and what happened to her with all of these paintings by Vincent van Gogh. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm reading that again with Linda and Deirdre. Deirdre's channel is Eden Restored. Linda's is Elder Talk, and we're going to read that for Frame in September. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then the other things that I have going, I still have my Theology book club. And so I want to finish up the Letters of St. Paul. Now, originally the goal was to finish it. It was called Summer of Paul. And summer officially ends September 22nd or 21st. And so that was does fall start on September 22nd? So I don't know. But anyway, so that was the original goal, to finish all of his epistles by then. But now I sort of want to finish it off in the first 2 weeks, by the end of the first 2 weeks of September, because I have signed up to read the Book of Revelations in a study group with my church, and that starts September 18th. It would be nice not to have that overlap. So I'm going to finish this up in September, and then I'm going to read the next part of The Lord by Romano Guardini. I have to read, like right now we're reading part 3. Let me look at the table of contents. So I have to finish up part 3, and in September on to part 4. On the Road to Jerusalem is the title of the whole section, and it's got 14 chapters in that part. So I have to read that too in September. So I think that's it, but it's a lot. I'm really strategizing. I could do my religious reading in the morning before the day gets going. And then during the day, if I find pockets of time, I read my nonfiction. And then in the evening before I go up to bed, I also read my nonfiction. And then I go take a shower. And then I'm on to my bedtime reading, which will be David McCullough, and my Kindle reading, which will be The Secret Life of Sunflowers. So tell me if you are participating in any of these events, or if there are other events. I know there's something called Shorty September. Never participated in that. I think you read short stories or novellas. And there might be other things going on in September that I am not aware of. But I think I'm, like, all my reading this for September is directed by some event I'm involved in, which I think is really part of the fun of BookTube. I love all these events. So, all right, well, I hope you are doing well, and I guess I will talk to you later, and happy reading. Bye.